Hello everybody, happy Friday night. Welcome to my Zen Den. My name is Mandy Van Havermit and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up from Grey Eagle, Minnesota. Tonight we're going to start on some Christmas cards. I'm pretty excited. When I saw the Christmas labels bundle in the mini catalog, I love it. And it's the dies. It's the dies and the sentiment that just are over the top awesome to me. Just because they're pretty labels, and I love simple cards, and I love cards that you can let the designer series paper do the work. And so I'm going to pair the Christmas labels bundle with the Sentimental Christmas designer series paper. And there's two great things about the designer series paper. Number one, it is vintage feeling, which you know I love. And number two, it is it's our philanthropic paper product this year. So I'll explain that as I'm flipping the camera around, but let's get the camera flipped around and we're going to get stamping. Hold on just 1 second. All right, so we're going to get this camera flipped down, and while I do that, I'm going to tell you about the Sentimental Christmas Designer Series paper. Every year in the winter mini catalog, Stampin' Up does a philanthropic project. This year they're doing the Sentimental Christmas Designer Series paper, and if you look on page 5 of the catalog, it's this Designer Series paper right here. And $3 of every pack of paper that is sold from this is going to help with children's literacy. So not only do you get some beautiful paper, but you get some, it helps kids with literacy. So this is the Christmas bundle that we're using, Christmas labels. And aren't those dies just the coolest? Let me show you if I can. Where did I put it? Okay, right here. Christmas labels. So the dies are just the coolest dies. They're like intricate labels and they match great with these. They line up so perfect with these sentiments. So we're going to show you, I'm going to show you tonight some really simple cards, and we're using just one piece of the designer series paper, and it's this piece right here, which would be awesome for a scrapbook page. Don't get me wrong, it would be a great scrapbook page. But in the catalog, if you look, this card right here really intrigued me. So we're going to case that card, and I figured out where to cut so we can get just this perfect lantern cut out. So I'm gonna show you that right now. First thing we're going to do, we're going to bring in our paper trimmer. And the way I found easiest to do this was to cut the paper directly in half. Okay, so I'm going to make a card with this corner in a little bit. We're going to set that aside. When I can't find it, you guys all holler at me that it's over there, okay? So now I've got this half here. So this is 6 inches by 12 inches. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut let me see with my notes over here. I'm going to cut 3 1/4 inches off. So right there. So now I've got this piece right here. This is beautiful on the back too, right? Love that. All right, so now this is going to be our center, and I'm going to cut this at 3.75, so 3 3/4. Okay, so now is it perfectly centered? Maybe not, but it's centered. It's centered enough for me. So now I've got this piece of paper too that I'm going to use probably later on for another card. Okay, so now I've got a piece that is, let's see here, what did I say? 3 3/4 wide. Okay, so we're going to trim this so it is 5 inches, because we're going to make, this is the card we're going to make. So 5 inches, I'm going to decide, I think I'd like it, I'm going to take a little off the bottom. First I'm going to take a 1/4 inch off the bottom. And this is just an eyeball. It depends on where you want your lantern to hit on your card. Take a little bit off at a time if that's how you'd like to do it, so that you can figure out where you want your lantern. These pieces here we're going to keep because we keep everything, right? All right, so first card we're going to make right here. I've changed the measurements just a little bit, but this is basically the card we're going to make. So let's grab our supplies. I have got a piece of cardstock, Pretty Peacock, 8.5 by 5.5. scored right down the middle at 4 1/4. I've got a piece of cherry cobbler, which I think is just absolutely beautiful with the pretty peacock, so rich and just beautiful looking. 4 by 5 1/4. I've got a piece of basic white for the inside that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then my piece of or designer series paper with that lantern on, that is ended up at 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so really just a simple card here. We're going to fold and burnish that, and we're just going to layer the pieces on top. I mean, when the DSP will do the work for you, let the DSP do the work for you. It's so pretty. And I have got a really cool trick with this label. I changed the label a little bit from the one that's in the catalog. So remember, when you're casing, you don't have to do it exactly. If you decide you don't like the way that these colors work, use a different. I'm not using the color that's in the catalog. Remember, the color that's in the catalog looked like it was Lost Lagoon. I'm not using Lost Lagoon. I'm making it a little bolder. So, and I'm also not using that label shape. But it gives you an idea. It gives you a springboard as to some ideas for you to craft with, right? All right, so I'm just centering that on. Beautiful, right? Okay, so I'm going to, I have a scrap of basic white right here, and it is a panel, but I am going to stamp, let's see here, I'm going to stamp Peace on Earth. So I'm using a little different stamp than what is in the catalog. I'm going to use cherry cobbler. So let's open up our ink pad. And because it is photopolymer, I like to use the Stampin' Pierce mat just to give myself a little bit of a cushion under that stamp. It makes the impression just that much better. So go ahead and close that up. And then I am going to use this die right here. And I got such a fun trick to show you with it. All right. So we're going to pull in our cut and emboss machine plates. I've got plate number 1, plate number 2, and then the bottom cutting plate. And remember, when you've got dies that have a flat edge, you don't want to run that edge in like exactly straight in, because there's rollers in that cut and emboss machine. And that's when it makes that big crunch. It's a little harder on your dies, a little harder on your machine, a little harder on your plates. So make it canter just a little bit to put a corner through. It doesn't have to be super sharp. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just don't make it straight into the cut and emboss machine. So we'll put our other plate number 1 on there, and I will send it through the cut and emboss machine. All right. So when I bring it back, here is my die cut piece. And isn't that cool? It's got like, it slits on the sides. So fun. So here's my trick. Here's what my plan is. Roll up my sleeves. Let's get crafting, right? I have got my, let's see here, it's metallic ribbon. It's pretty peacock, and it's got some gold in there. So I'm going to cut a little strip of that. And aren't my measurements so specific? All right, and then I'm going to use my secret little weapon for ribbons, my lighter, because this ribbon will fray. This ribbon frays really nicely if you'd like to pull it apart. But I don't want it to pull apart, so I'm just going to give those ends just a little bit of a shot of my lighter there, just to make sure that I don't fray. And I'm going to put just a little dot of adhesive on the back, and then check this out. This is so cool. You can weave the ribbon through the die and make it all fancy looking. All right. Is that not the coolest thing ever? I love it. And just kind of make it even, and then press it down. And so when we put it on here, oh, I love it. So cool. Okay, now if you wanted to trim it up a little bit, because I don't like, it is a little bit longer. Now we're going to play with fire when it's closer to the paper. Tricky. Okay, there's one. There's two. Okay, I did it, and I didn't light anything on fire. Yay. Okay, now let's grab some dimensionals and pop that up a bit. And I'm putting it right on the ribbon. That is just fine. Just like that. So pretty. Peace on earth. I love that. Now I think it needs just a little bit more, so I'm going to pull in the Drusty, what are they called? Drusty adhesive backed embellishments. They're so pretty. They're super sparkly. I just love them. I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool. And of course, you know me, I always like threes. So 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So that, oh, let's put our inside in. That's card number 1. And of course you could put an inside sentiment in. I'm going to leave it blank for now. All right, so there's card number 1. Super simple, right? And that came right out of the catalog. So card number 2. I've got 3 cards tonight, and I'm so excited for them. The last card is like the coolest thing I think I've done in a long, long time. You're gonna be so excited. And it's a simple card, but it's so exciting. Dropping stuff. Okay, card number 2. We're going to make this card right here. Is that not the fanciest thing ever? And it's simple. I love simple and fancy. So let's see what we got here. We have got a piece of basic beige, 8.5 by 5.5, scored right down the middle at 4 1/4. A piece of cherry cobbler that's 3.5 by 4 3/4. A piece of basic white for the inside, 4 by 5 1/4. And then we're going to take a piece of designer series paper that is 3 by 4 1/2. So that piece that I trimmed off that's got all of the pine on it, I'm going to use this side here. So let's pull in our trimmer, and we're going to make that 4 1/2 inches long. So just like that. So it was already 3. It was 3 1/4. It's 3 1/4. Don't mind that. It's 3 1/4, not 3 1/2. Should I change that? 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. There we go. Whew. The struggle is so real. Okay, here's the trick. I am going to take this die right here before I adhere this piece to this piece, and I'm going to cut a piece of red out. So we've got our plates. Plate 1, 2, 3. Stick that right in the middle, and I'm going to run it through my cut and emboss machine. This is one of my favorite tricks. My friend Deb taught me this trick, and I think of her every time I do it. So now I've got a piece of cherry cobbler with a hole in the middle, but nobody will know that there's a piece of cherry cobbler with a hole in the middle. So we're going to take out. Isn't that like the most beautiful die cut you've ever seen? I just love it. Okay, so let's get rid of that guy. And let's bring in our cherry cobbler ink pad again. I'm going to use cherry cobbler the whole time tonight with everything, and I am going to use the Sentiment Winter Wishes. And I've got just a piece of basic beige. And I'm just going to stamp right in the middle, just like that. And that is all my stamping here. So now we're going to take this, bring our plates back in. And it doesn't matter that this is too small. because what I'm doing is I'm only worried about cutting the center part out. We're going to snip it apart. So just like that, let's turn it so it goes through all the way and through the cut and emboss machine. So now when I took that off, it didn't cut everything, right? But that's okay, because I'm going to take it out of the die, just like that. And I am going to snip right with the lines. Those lines are in there really well, so you just gotta cut with the lines. Super simple, not tricky at all. So we'll do the same on the bottom, just like that. All right, so let's assemble our card. We're going to fold and burnish our basic beige. And the basic beige goes perfectly with this designer series paper. It is like so pretty because it looks vintage enough. If the white looks so white with it that the basic beige just looks perfect. It's hard to explain. It's so pretty. So we're just going to center this piece right on top. And if you ever take my cards apart, you're going to see this trick here a lot. You can't see that I've got a hole in the back of my panels, and I do that quite often. It's a great little trick. All right, so I'm not going to seal that down just yet because I'm going to use some of this ribbon. It is satin ribbon, and it's cherry cobbler in color, and it's got this beautiful gold trim on the outside. Adds just a little bit of sparkle. And so I'm going to do one of my favorite tricks and just put a little bit of adhesive on the back. And we'll see, we'll measure it out here. And so I'm just going to wrap it around, just like that. And it adds just the perfect amount of sparkle. Like that. Isn't that pretty? Oh, I just like that. So nice. Okay, so now we will attach that down onto our basic beige card. Just like that. And we're just centering it right on top of there. And like I said, I love when designer series paper does the work for us. Because isn't that pretty? So pretty. Now, let's attach this directly down onto our, and I'm not worrying about these. That'll give it a little, it'll puff up a little bit, poke up a little bit, but it's not going to be, the integrity of the card is still there. It'll give it a little bit of dimension. I am, however, going to put some dimensionals on the back of this piece. Like so. And that just, if you line it up, it's perfect, just like, sure it is. There we go. Okay, so just like that. Isn't that pretty? I love it. And so you can see there's a few little snowflakes inside this card, and I thought it needs just a little bit something more. So there are white loose snowflakes in the catalog, and they're used, they're supposed to be used for like shaker cards and things like that, but I'm gonna put a couple on here. So I'm just using my Tombow glue and just ever so, just a little bit. I think I'm just gonna do 3. Just don't forget where you set your glue, because sometimes it looks, there's a lot going on in here and it kind of blends in. So we're going to just take your pick tool, and it's just going to add another little layer of dimension. If you have them, awesome. If you don't, the card is beautiful without them. So do you and do whatever makes you happy. So there we go. Pretty. And those are some really, they're kind of thick. They're not like, they're more than a sequin, but they're less than, they're really an interesting texture. So, all right. So there is card number 2. I'm just going to put my inside, and of course you can put a sentiment on the inside if you'd like to. Okay, so there is card number 2. Card number 3, I'm so excited for, guys. You have no, oh my gosh. So this is card number 3. And if you look at this card, let's see, can you see? It's got like a shimmer on it. It's so cool. Okay, I'm going to show you how I put the shimmer on it. I used, in the catalog, in the annual catalog, there are 2 sets. There's pearlized enamel effects. So this is the pearlized. It's got a white, a gray, and a red. There's also metallic enamel effects. So I am going to take, here we go. I've got my little spray, which is also in the catalog. They're very inexpensive. It's a little like spray pen, okay? And then I'm going to take 91% isopropyl alcohol. It has to be 91%. It's more concentrated. You can get 70% in the pharmacy too, or the hardware store. Don't go to the hardware store for isopropyl alcohol. Go to a drugstore. Oh my word. Okay, so we're gonna pour in a little bit of, I'm almost out, so we're gonna pour in, and it doesn't take much, our isopropyl alcohol, and then we're going to use our enamel effects, which these make great dots and things like that, but this is just another way to use it. So I'm going to squeeze that in, and I've got like that much in there, okay? I don't have a ton in there, but I have some. And it's concentrated, so it's pretty thick. So now I'm going to put my cover on and shake it. And shake it until, like, there was some on the sides over here, so I just shake it until it is off of the side. Okay, so you can see it's kind of made a milky kind of stuff there. All right. So we're going to take, remember I said I'm going to use this piece of designer series paper, and I thought this part over here was so pretty. So let's cut this, and I'm doing a full 4-inch, and I'm going to take it off the top. We're going to go right off the top by 5 1/4. Let's take a little off the bottom too. Here's the deal. You can always cut a little bit at a time and see where you like it. Yeah, I want a little more off the top. I'm going to take another bottom. I'm going to take another 1/4 inch off the bottom. So there I'm at. There, I took it all off the bottom. I took 3/4 inch off the bottom. I thought that, and I'm literally eyeballing it to see where I want to, what picture I want on there. All right, so now I'm going to cover my work surface with some paper because I don't want shimmer on my desk. So I've shaken up my little spray bottle here, and I'm just going to and because it's alcohol, it dries pretty quick, and it actually covers really, like, spraying that much worked. If we want to, you can let it sit, and it will dry on its own pretty quickly. But if you use a heat tool, it'll go a little faster. And you know me, I'm kind of an instant gratification kind of girl. And it is just like the most delicate shimmer on there. So pretty. So can you see the difference between the two here? I don't know if you can even see on there. It is so pretty. This has not got shimmer on it. This has shimmer on it. It's phenomenal. In person, it's phenomenal, and I was very excited to check it out, or to discover it. I was like, oh, the coolest thing ever. Okay, so let's build our simple card, because the shimmer does everything for us. 8 1/2 by 5 1/2 pretty peacock, and then I brought in 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 of pecan pie. So basically, it's just 1/8 of an inch in from each side there. My designer series paper, that was 4 by 5 1/4, and then a piece of basic white, 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. And I am seriously just letting the designer series paper do the work here. It with that shimmer on it, it's so cool. So cool. And if you find that it's tricky to line up, so did anybody else catch that I made my cut wrong? This is, yeah. That is 5 1/4. This has to be, it is too long. My thing here is 5 3/8. I need to trim off a little bit. Let's go off the bottom here. We're gonna, and I got sticky on here, so it's going to, I have to stick it down. There we go. Let's see how this works out. My next video will be how to clean your trimmer. Actually, it didn't stick on there. Good deal. Okay, let's try it again. By the way, how do you clean your trimmer? Use lemon essential oil. That's how I clean my trimmer. Yeah, a lemon essential oil takes off adhesive. All right, so the pecan pie just trimmed that out so beautifully. It really pulled out the twigs on the branch. So we're gonna fold our pretty peacock cardstock, and I'm just going to layer that right on there. And it's so pretty. That shimmer in person, I really hope you guys can see it through the video, because it is so pretty. All right, so there we go. I've got, let's see here, my piece of my scrap white, my scrap basic white. And I am going to grab my cherry cobbler again, which is right here. And I've got the Be Merry. I think this would make a great Christmas card. This would actually, or birthday card even, a winter birthday card. This would make a really nice, this piece would make a really nice winter birthday card, or sympathy card, or thinking of you card. It wouldn't necessarily have to be a Christmas card by any means. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so we're going to use this here die. I will grab that off of there and line this up centered just like that, and then put our other plate on top and send it through the cut and emboss machine. So here is our label, and I'm going to take a little bit of baker's twine. This comes in a pack with the basic colors. This is the beige one. Thought it was a really nice twiggy kind of thing, and all I'm going to do is tie a big bow, just a big shoelace bow, right? Nothing too fancy, nothing too over the top. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to hide it. We're going to stick that right on the back of this. Let's see, I'd like it like that. And if you ever notice, I always do mine when I'm this direction, so I can see where the pieces stick out. I prefer doing it that way. I know that there's card makers that do it all with the label upside down. Do whatever you feel comfortable with. I like to see the other side, so. And if you tack that down, it'll stay wherever you want it to. All right. So let's take our dimensionals off. I'm going to put one more on there, up in this top corner, just to make me feel better. Okay, there we go. Just like that. It is so pretty with that shimmer on. Oh my goodness, you can't even believe how much I love that. And I am going to try it with all the different enamel effects. I'm going to try it with a metallic one too, to see the silver metallic. I bet that is just, I bet that's going to be really cool too. So and pearlized enamel effects. It's in the big annual catalog. So that is card number 3, which, let me get my little dots off. Very simple card. So here's my 3 cards for tonight. I've got a third one. Here it is. There's my 3 cards for tonight. And then I'm going to show you one more. There's one more die that comes with this. And this was the same designer series paper pack. I just did circles, the stitch circles, and then the happy, celebrate the holidays and all the ways. Super pretty. And again, this is a basic beige, pretty peacock. I think this is Poppy Parade. And then a piece of the designer series paper that I just cut those little cute little deer out. Celebrate the holidays in all the ways. Super cute, super simple card there again. So let's flip the camera back around. I hope you guys take some inspiration from these ideas. Let's flip this around. I know what I'm doing. All right. I hope you guys take some inspiration from those. I loved making them. I'm going to be making a lot of Christmas cards with just designer series paper and those dies. I love them. I think they are so pretty. There's a sentiment in there too. It's a hot cocoa day. Can you imagine how cool that would be with like a little mug of hot cocoa? I think there's a latte set out right now. That's an online exclusive. It would be so cute. So I hope it inspired you. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, I will see you back here again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.